Let's straighten this out once and for all. There is nothing wrong with being in a polygamous marriage. If that's how you roll, that's how you roll. Hi, I'm Vera Ezimora. I'm a storyteller and the founder of Verastic.com. I use my words to give people audacity to do the thing. Okay, let us get into this. I've been reading and watching a lot of content about polygamy lately, and I'm talking specifically about the argument for polygamy. Let me preface this by saying I am Nigerian. I spent part of my childhood in Nigeria. So polygamous families are not, they don't cause me to be shocked or surprised, right? It's Nigeria is like half and half Christian and Muslim, about half and half Christian and Muslim. So we have we are diverse. Let me put it that way. We are diverse in our cultural beliefs, in our religion, in our personal beliefs, and of course in our marriages. So polygamy to me is like, okay, whatever, if that's what you want to do. Okay. Now, the argument for polygamy these days, however, which I'll call the modern argument for polygamy, is that men are naturally inclined to be polygamous. Like men are polygamous by nature. And I mean men as in the gender, not mankind. But men are polygamous by nature, so that for us to expect them to be with one woman is basically setting them up for failure. And apparently, we were, and now I'm also speaking specifically within the African culture, right? Apparently, we were all good with polygamy before the white man brought Christianity, brought religion into Africa and has ruined what was a sensational, very well beloved African culture of men marrying multiple wives because women don't mind sharing their husband. That is the modern argument. The last video I watched on this subject was a woman who said that when this is an African woman, she's a little older, who said that there is something women realize and they only realize it when they get older, which is that they realized that it was quite silly for them to be fighting their men over cheating when it was just men doing what comes to them naturally, being polygamous in nature, by nature. I wish I could embed it here, but I'm not really sure about copyright and I don't want to get into trouble. So I'm just going to say what my thoughts are relating to this modern understanding of polygamy. Let's start by having an objective breakdown of what polygamy is and what cheating or infidelity is. I will start with cheating and infidelity. Infidelity in a marriage is when one person steps out unbeknown to the other person and has an affair. And it is cheating because it breaks the agreed upon rules of entry, right? When they got into this marriage, the agreement was we're only going to be with each other. We're only going to love each other and all that. And then when one person steps out, usually a secret to the other person, it is infidelity. In polygamy, however, specifically now, a man with multiple wives, this is done for religious, cultural, personal beliefs. It doesn't even matter why it's done. The point is that the man who is polygamous, who believes in polygamy or is polygamy inclined, is with a woman or with women who know what the situation is. Like as of the time he's marrying his first wife, he's like, girl, I'm gonna get a second, third, fourth, whatever wife someday. She's like, cool. That's polygamy. They know what's going on. They are in agreement. The difference so between polygamy and infidelity is consent. Agreement, consent. That is the difference. If you go into marriage with the promise of monogamy and you end up stepping out of your marriage, your wife will raise hell. She will raise hell because you have broken faith. She will raise hell because this becomes a case of what I ordered versus what I got. Like I ordered monogamy, but I'm getting something else. So that's why she's raising hell. If you are a man who believes in polygamy or you're polygamy inclined, then there are two things you could do and should do. One, tell your future wife before she becomes your wife that one day you will be picking another wife. One day she will not be just your wife, but your first wife. Let her know and let her agree to it if that's something she wants so that she has autonomy over her marital life and she can decide that, all right, cool. That's what you want to do. I'm fine with it. That's okay. Or number two, you go to where women who believe in polygamy are and you choose a wife from there. That way, no harm, no foul. Everyone is on the same page. Nobody's going to be surprised when wife number two, three, four, five, whatever comes in. They're like, yeah, we knew, we expected this. But here's the real problem with polygamy these days. Polygamy, what they're calling polygamy these days. The real problem is that men who are polygamous or who intend to be polygamous don't want to marry the women who are fine with it. No, they want what they want. They want this woman who doesn't want polygamy. And they're just going to tell her what she wants to hear. And then halfway down the line, they're like, I changed my mind. I now want to be polygamous. Well, that's not how it works. The other men who don't even want to be polygamous just want to be able to step out of their marriage under the guise of polygamy. Like they're not actually going to marry a second wife, but they want the option to be able to step out and step out in peace. That too is not going to work. You cannot enter into a contract, promise one thing, and then when you're already in there, when both partners have signed and agreed to what they're going to do, you change your mind. That's not done anyway. Tell me where this is okay. Let's use a business, for example. If you had a business partner, you and your business partner, you get into this business, you agree that, all right, we are going to, whatever income we have, we're going to save 50% of it, put 50% of it back into the business. And you agree and you sign documents, you shake hands, you hug, you cry, you're like, cool. And then 3 years later, your partner is like, I think I'm just going to do 25% actually, because now that I think about it, I've got some other expenses, I just got married, I have kids, I never, blah, blah, blah. Tell me where that is okay. I bet you that a lawsuit will ensue, right? If your business partner did that to you, there'll probably be a lawsuit. But somehow in marriage, a woman is supposed to take it. When her husband, who promised her monogamy, changes his mind, she's supposed to be like, okay, well, that's how this man used to do. It's okay. No, no, there is nowhere that is okay. The argument isn't even, is polygamy right? We're not even talking about that. That's like a whole other conversation. What we're talking about today is do what you said you will do. Mean what you say and say what you mean. If polygamy is what you want, say that you want polygamy and let the woman know that that is what is going to happen. If you don't want polygamy, say that and mean that and do that. To the woman who recorded the video and every woman who feels the way she does, I'm going to say this, that you should tell us what you're really trying to say. Because what I'm hearing is you have a husband who is a serial cheat. You can't get him to stop cheating. And you have decided to accept your fate as it is. And you have decided to accept that men are cheats by nature, that men are polygamous by nature. A man cannot be with one woman for the rest of his life. And why are you even fighting? You've decided to accept it. Say that. Because that's what you're actually trying to tell us. Not that men cannot be with one woman. This message of men cannot not cheat, like men have to cheat, all men cheat, is so misleading to young women. And if you are a young woman, especially a single one, an unmarried one listening to this, watching this, I just want to tell you that you should not believe the lie. This is a lie from the pit of hell. I'm not saying that men don't cheat. Of course they do. I'm just letting you know that they do not all cheat. There are men who stay faithful. Please don't believe that it is impossible for a man to stay. What does that mean? To say that it's impossible is kind of like if you were to say it's impossible for a human being to live underwater just like a fish. That's impossible. Like with no help, with no tools just by himself, all natural. If you say that's impossible, yes, that is impossible. Is it impossible for a man to be faithful? Absolutely not. There are men who are doing it and they don't have two heads, they don't have a tail. It is the choice for the man to do it. If he wants to be faithful, that is his choice. So if you are single, please don't believe this lie. Because what happens is you believe this lie and you accept it and you expect it. And then it becomes your reality. And then one day you're doing hide my ID and you're out there saying all men are full of shit. They are not all full of it. Trust me. And I'm not even saying this because all my life I have never been cheated on. Oh, that could not be further from the truth. But I've always believed and still believe that they do not all cheat. There are men out there who have a real fear of God. There are men out there who respect the sanctity of marriage. They understand what it means to be in a marriage and they respect it. Such a man does not step out of his marriage. So if that's what you want, then that's what you get. But I will say, make sure you are the woman that that kind of man wants to marry. Don't give in. Don't give up. Do not compromise. What you seek is seeking you. Now, so Rumi Tokam. What you seek is seeking you. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe so you can watch more videos. Bye.